Welcome back to Inside Texas with the Girl Herd. We have Eric with us today, everybody. Eric, how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing great. Fresh off vacation.
Yeah, vacation, women's softball national championship. You guys have to be. You guys are living the good life.
Living the great life. You know, we're going to get into all things softball, and we do have a special guest for you all. But we wanted to kick it off with some football updates. It was exciting past few days, and so Eric, I think the big question and conversation online from Texas fans is we did just get that Natty in softball, and I think we're all just sitting here lying in wait for football. We were top 4 finish last couple of years, so we're looking to you to kind of tell us what's the difference maker. What are you seeing going into this season that's going to really push us over the hump?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there's a buildup to Texas getting over the hump. That's it. That's exactly what Sark is telling them. That's this offseason. The goal is to get over the hump. Focus on the details. You guys are so close. The goals are not to win the SEC. I mean, obviously that's a goal, but that's not the main goal. The main goal is to win it all. And it seems like Texas is in the middle of that buildup. If you're old enough, you remember Michael Jordan beating the Pistons. And if you're a Texas softball fan, you remember Texas having to get through the last couple World Series coming up just a little bit short. Same thing happened with Texas volleyball. It seems like they're on the cusp. That's the mindset. He has a team to do it. The external factors, I think, favor Texas as well, where most of the top teams have a lot more questions than Texas does. Number one defense sets a high, or maybe the top 2 or 3 defense sets a very high floor for the team. This year, they're going to get a lot more help. Last year, they didn't get enough help from the offense or special teams. I think Sark has all 3 units pointed in the right direction. I've been high on Texas the last 2 seasons, but this is the most excited I've been on Texas since going into 2005. And unless something drastic happens, knock on wood, hopefully no more injuries, I'll probably be picking Texas to win it all in August.
What gives you that extra boost of excitement for the team this year?
Just hearing about the mindset, when I talk to sources, they've been high on Sark going back to when he was hired. Even after 5 and 7, they thought, "Nah, we got the right guy. We've got the right guy. We're not worried about it." But just every year we're talking offline about incrementalism, how every offseason gets just a little bit better in every regard across the board, and there's just a little bit more lift every time. The energy is through the roof. I think they have not had many bad apples in the program since probably Sark's first year. But there's been a couple each year. I think anybody that had a bad attitude, wasn't fully bought in, is gone. To a man, it sounds like everybody's just fully bought in, working extremely hard. And the extra sense of confidence comes from, they've had a lot of transfers come in. And every transfer comes in and is shocked at how hard they work. They're working hard at all these schools, don't get me wrong. But we've heard the sentiment from guys coming from Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and numerous other schools. They say nobody works harder than Texas. They're kind of shocked. And, they all rave about the culture. And I think that just gives a confidence boost across the board. It just seems like it's Texas's turn. It definitely seems like it's Sark's turn, right? He's got to win it at some point to complete this story, this amazing story that he's writing. I'm a lot more excited than I sound like, because now my tail's going to be on the line for getting this one right. But I've had a really good read of the team the last few years, and my confidence grows by every phone call.
All of us have been so excited about getting to there. We're ready to get to there. How do we look in terms of, you mentioned this, injuries? Of course, we have a long season, but where are we starting off now? How are we looking?
Yeah, injuries are great. Other than CJ Baxter, who got some airtime rooting on his girlfriend recently for softball, he's got some questions. He had a pretty significant knee injury. It wasn't the run-of-mill ACL where, Derek Williams had that in October, and he's already back full go in June. So that tells you that CJ's was quite a bit more severe. He got hurt in August. So we're still pointing on that August timeline for him to come back. And then it remains, hey, how does he look in practice? It's one thing to run fast in a straight line. He's obviously put on some muscle. How's he going to carry that? That's another question. But, running back, you're not in control of which direction you're going. Sometimes, the linebacker is going to force you to make a move, and you've got to trust that knee, and you've got to be able to move like you used to. So there's still going to be some questions. Talk about having a great story. He's the type of guy that writes a really good redemption story as well. But outside of him, everybody's back. Colton Vosick is back. He's had some injury history throughout his time at Texas. Obviously, he flashed in the semifinal against Ohio State. He has significant upside. He's got outside of Colin Simmons, he has probably more upside than anybody that's going to play a lot this year. I can't rule out Lance Jackson long term, but Colton Vosick could be a huge contributor. Derek Williams is back, like we talked about. And they're getting Jonah Williams. He was dinged up a little bit during baseball. He's back and he's going this week. So it's probably the healthiest team that Sark has had so far. But there's that significant question of CJ Baxter. Hopefully he can come back like his normal self, and that'll give the run game a big boost.
What are you mentioned Jonah, and now that he's back with baseball being done, what are you hoping to see out of him as practice starts and he really gets on the field and starts interacting with the team?
Well, I mean, first of all, they're gonna have to figure out his position. They're looking for all these different ways to get him on the field. That's probably the number one thing, because he's not going to beat out Michael Taft. Obviously, that's not happening in a million years. He's not beating out Derek Williams or Jelani McDonald either. But there's got to be a way to get him on the field. Last year they ran 6 defensive backs quite a bit in dime, and usually in third pass, obvious passing situations. This year, I think they're going to build that package out a little bit more, use it more often. That extra defensive back gives them another chance to get him on the field, but also other guys as well. Safety is probably the deepest unit on the team, but that's actually a good thing, because they're going to find ways to play 3 of them at the same time quite a bit. So we know he's going to get some looks at nickel. But I think what they're going to do is they're just going to throw him out in the field in between a bunch of experienced, talented players. You got Malik Muhammad on one side, Michael Taft over here, Derek Williams. All these guys can steer him around, tell him what to do, and just let him go play fast.
Yeah, I know high school level he did some special teams on the return game, and that was exciting. So
Yeah.
I wonder if that might be an option too.
He's a freak athlete. I don't think they'll have him back there doing that, but I mean, it would be fun. You know, the guy could play wide receiver. He could do anything he wants. He's a very, very rare talent. I think we all saw that on baseball. I knew he was a good baseball player. I didn't know he was going to be, provide that sort of spark. I think he's got the potential to give that same spark to football. Everybody's excited to see him. Great kid, rejuvenated. And, as much all the talk about baseball during his recruitment and all that, he's really a football player first. I can't wait to see him.
Yeah, same. I think we're all super excited. Anything else we're not thinking about, Eric, in terms of any of the units that we should be looking out for that, have made big improvements from last season, or just the run-of-the-mill fan? Like, is there something that we might be missing that we should keep our eye on for next year?
Well, I'm a big believer in special teams this season. I know they took a big step back last year. We talked about it a lot on Inside Texas. There was a lot of context into it. You don't really notice special teams until you start having lapses, even beyond missed field goals. They had too many mental mistakes. Biting on fakes that really, kept them from winning an SEC championship, almost cost them a game against Arizona State. I think they're going to be much better. And I think in these high leverage games like Georgia, you'll see Michael Taft back out there. They feel a lot better about their depth and safety, so they can play him there more. They're going to feel better about playing Trey Wisner on special teams. Remember, Trey made his first name at Texas on special teams. When Keelan Robinson left and then had all these injuries, they needed him at running back too much, or more so than on special teams. So I think you're going to see special teams take an improvement, just because some of the veterans will be back. And then a lot of the younger players that made mistakes, Warren Roberson had a handful last year. They're not going to make those again. They're so focused on fixing special teams, that can be the only outcome.
Man, I feel like this has us fired up for August. It needs to be football season. I know we are all ready. Thank you so much, Eric. Yep. And now we will hear a word from our sponsor, Luxe Kitchen and Bath.
This video is brought to you by Luxe Kitchen and Bath. Luxe has been offering high-end kitchen and bathroom remodels for 3 generations throughout the greater Austin area. With 5-star review after 5-star review on Google and Facebook, and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, you can put your faith in Luxe Kitchen and Bath's award-winning designers and skilled craftspeople to bring to life that dream vision of your special home. But that's not all. Luxe's all-star team provides full remodels, large additions, and even commercial build-outs as well. So call Luxe Kitchen and Bath at 833-358-LUXE today. Or visit luxekitchenbath.com to discover where quality meets luxury and begin the process of transforming your home. Get a free quote today by calling 833-358-LUXE. That's L-U-X-E. Or by visiting luxekitchenbath.com. Link in the description.
Welcome back. Like I mentioned before, we have a special guest with us today. We are so excited to have former UT softball pitcher Megan Denny-White with us. She holds multiple records from her career at Texas, and she sits third on the all-time wins list, trailing only Kat Osterman and Blair Luna. Megan, welcome, and thanks for joining us today.
Hi, you guys. Thank you all so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Yes. Well, we have to get into it. Texas softball national championship. Finally.
Yes.
How are you feeling?
Oh, finally. Yes. You guys, it's been a long time coming for this program. I know we have been to the World Series 8 times. I fortunately was blessed enough to experience 2 of those World Series that we got to be at. And every single one of the girls that goes through this program, we put our heart, our soul, our blood, our sweat, our tears, our entire lives into this game. And we all had a dream to play for this absolutely incredible university. And when we all get there, that's everybody's goal. That's the end game, is win the Women's College World Series. And coming up short 7 times has been kind of a heartbreaker. So, but this one just felt different from the beginning. It felt different. All of the alumni, we even talked about that. We're like, this one feels different. That we just knew. We knew that this was going to be it. We knew this was going to happen. There was never a doubt in anyone's mind. But just sitting there watching it play out was so fun. And I fortunately got to be at the second game. And I got to take my kids and I got to experience that. And which was super awesome. I was obviously disappointed that we didn't win in that second game. But that third game, my son had a baseball game, and I'm not missing my son's game. So me and my mom and my daughter were just like sitting around my phone, watching it on my phone while we're trying to cheer on my son and then scream at the girls through the phone and then cheer on my son. And yeah, it was an amazing experience getting to watch them win with my mother, who obviously was my go-to person, my number one person in my career to share all this with me. So sharing that win with her was super awesome. And then, guys, the best part about it is when my daughter, when we won the game, we clinched the game, my mom and I are crying, we're screaming, we're hugging, and then we cried some more and screamed some more, jumping into people in the park think we're nuts. My daughter immediately says, "That's going to be me one day."
Oh, I love that. That like gives me goosebumps.
I know. It gave me goosebumps too. And I'm telling you, my nervous system has not stopped. It's just chaos, just running in through every cell of my body. I'm so happy for this group. This group of girls they're so special. They're absolutely, every single one of them is incredible athletes, incredible women. The whole group is just unlike any other. And man, I'm so glad. I'm so glad it was them that brought it home for us.
I love that you talk about too. I feel like we see in the women's sports, like how much of a family you guys create. And you talk about you're still in communication with so many of the older teammates that you have. Can you talk a little bit about the bond that you have as a team, but two, the way that this program has kind of transitioned to be what they were today, to be able to bring that national championship back home to Austin?
Yes. It's almost as soon as we were done celebrating, I text my former coach, Connie Clark, immediately. And I'm like, you paved the way for this. You built this program. She was the Texas's first and only coach until Mike White. And she brought in all of these absolutely remarkable women to create a culture and really create a sisterhood and a family within this program that is so I can't think of anything to say, but just unlike anything else, unlike any other. I guess you have to be a part of it to really experience, the love that we all have for each other and that bond, that sisterhood. And that's exactly what we are, is a family. And I really feel like we all did this together. I mean, we obviously weren't on the field with the girls, but I feel like our hearts, our souls, our spirits are connected. They're also connected through this family and this program, this organization, and what Connie Clark has built, what Mike White is building, and it was so special. I could almost feel what those girls were going through on the field, and I was just sending them all of my love and all my energy and all of my good vibes and my prayers just right to them. And I know all the other alumni were doing the same thing all at the same time. And I know for a fact we were all on that field with them the whole time. And I really do. I feel like we all did that as a family, and it was exciting.
I mean, you do, right?
Look at me. I'm a blubbering.
No, we love it. This is awesome.
Yeah. Hey, look, you deserve to be emotional. This is an awesome time. You're right. Like you did pave the way, because once girls, young girls start seeing that, and then they want to come to Texas, and then you get these teams who just, get it further and further, go back to College World Series, and then to finally bring it home. So 100%. And then I'm sure girls come to you and want to talk about things. I know Kat had an interview as well where her and Tegan were talking. So I'm sure there's all of that sisterhood and bonding, and you guys have all been there before, so you know what it's like. And it was, I mean, we were all feeling it. We were watching the game and we were like, dang it, we didn't win it in 2, but okay, let's go to the 3rd, let's see, and then you watch it and you can feel the sisterhood when errors started occurring. There wasn't any, pointing or like they weren't getting upset. They were just like, all right, we're still going to win it for us as a team. And everyone played their role and their part in it. And it was very cool to watch as just a fan as well. So I can only imagine how it feels like for you too.
Yes, this program has been just so successful from day one, and just every single one of the women that have come through this program, we quite literally exist for this, right? Like we live, eat, sleep, breathe softball, and we put all our whole lives into this, and as a little girl, you just dream of coming to this immaculate and prestigious university, and you just want to be a part and to grind and sweat and cry, fight sometimes and make up and just and do all of this for building this dynasty, this legacy, and just to see this very, very special group bring it home. It's something I will never forget. I'll never forget this. It's, like I said, it's running through every cell of my body. I'm just so proud of these girls. I'm so proud of this program. And I don't know what I did to deserve to be a part of all this, but man, am I thankful. I'm just thankful.
Well, we are so glad that you are a significant part of it. And I think that you really were a part of it. Like, this is what a program is about. So everything that you built on and the teams that came after you until this moment, I actually had to remind myself that this program didn't have a national championship going into this postseason run. That is how meaningful and significant softball at the University of Texas has been, and the names that have come through that program. Kat, she's actually from the same district that I went to high school in. Obviously, she was part of USA softball, but I mean, I really didn't know, and I had to remind myself of it. But since you were a pitcher, I kind of want to get into game 2 since you were there, because online, the fans were talking a lot about Mike White's coaching decision, to not put out Tegan, our ace, in game 2. And I want to hear what you think about that in terms of his strategy and sort of what went down.
Yeah, every pitcher on the Texas staff is superior, and they have every single tool that they need to get that job done. And he went with his gut instincts, which is what coaches have to do. You have to go with your instincts and with your gut, and he did. And you know what? Every single girl out there, they grit, they grind together, and like you said, there were some errors made, and but it was like I said, from day one, this all felt different. This felt different. This felt special. And it's like everybody, no matter what happened in game 2, it's like, we know we're going, it's just like, it was just a given. We just knew. We knew that it was going to fall our way. And no, I think with being, coaching's hard, y'all. Coaching is really, really hard. And making those decisions it can be kind of brutal on your soul a little bit, but I love that he showed faith in the other pitchers on the staff, and rightfully so. They have every reason to have faith in them, and I love that every single girl got to contribute to this World Series. Every single one of them got to leave their mark on that field, and all could say, hey, I did this, I contributed, I did something, I did what I could for my team. When the ball was in my hands, I gave it my whole heart, my whole soul. And even if they did just kind of save a little bit of innings and kind of saved a little pitches from Tegan's arm to make her fresh for game 3, then that was their role, and they did, and they all did it beautifully, as you should, as a team. I just think this team is just the epitome of sisterhood and excellence and professionalism, and to see the way that they performed was just something to be so proud of. And I'm so proud of Mike White too. I think he is a absolutely incredible, remarkable coach. He is brilliant, and I love that he goes with his instincts, because that's all we can really do sometimes as a coach. You can strategize till the cows come home, but at the end of the day, you got to go with your gut. And he did that and showed tremendous trust and love into every single one of his players. And they all played like it. And you know what? And I think that's why we won, is because of that trust and that love amongst each other. And that's what they were doing. They were fighting for each other. And yeah, I don't know. I think if he could go back and do everything over again, I don't think Mike White would have any regrets. I really don't.
Agreed. I think it was the right call for sure.
Yeah.
I like that we talked about you being a pitcher as well, and you've been in their shoes. You said twice y'all went to this phase in the game. Can you talk to us about mentally as you're standing on the mound in this type of situation? Like, take us through the motions. Like, what are you thinking? How are you calming yourself down? Like, the pressure that you're feeling and what every other pitcher has probably felt in that moment.
Yeah. Well, for me personally, the worst part was in the bullpen, warming up. That's when I think I was the most anxious, the most nervous, and just all the thoughts running through my head. But, when my foot crossed into that circle, and y'all, that's home. That is home for a pitcher. That is where we feel our most confident, our most comfortable, most secure, reassured. That's our place. It's our place. And once we step into that circle, game changes there. You just get in there and you just respond, right? You don't react. You respond to what you've prepared for. That's what we train our mind and bodies to do, is to respond and to trust what we know. What we know is right, and to trust what we have to offer. And so, yeah, and that's kudos to my coaches for our coaches for training us to have that kind of mindset, so that when we are in those situations where the rest of the world would be like, oh my goodness, like I don't think I could do this, like I would buckle. It's like, no, we've trained ourselves to trust ourselves and our abilities and our talents so much that we're just ready to go out there and do us, and at that point it does. You just follow what you've been trained, and you just compete. You just compete. You don't try to be perfect, right? You don't try to not mess up, right? You just get out there and go get what's yours, and kind of get in that mode where I'm out for blood. I'm just out for blood, showing no mercy, ready to go. My best versus your best. Let's dance. Whoever wins, cool, wins. I'll get the ball the next pitch, that's the kind of mindset and perspective that I had when I was on the greatest stage. So yeah. Oh my gosh. You know what I really wish? My 40-year-old mind could be put back in my 20-year-old body.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Oh man. I tell you what, I would most definitely trust my stuff. That's for sure. Because I'm so much smarter and wiser now.
Mm-hmm.
But
it would be so cool if y'all did like an alumni game, like have all the alumni come back and play against the current team. I feel like that would be amazing.
So we've done that twice.
Okay.
We have. Back in 2018 was our first time that we ever did an alumni game, and we won. But it was honestly, it was kind of unfair, because Kat and myself were still playing the game. We were playing in the professional league at the time, and I think her and I combined for a perfect game.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I think it was a little unfair, but we had another one. I think it was, I forget what year it was, but it was a couple years after that. And Kat couldn't be there because she was, I forget where she was, but she couldn't be there. And I was really the only alumni that could really pitch for us. And I hadn't touched a ball in a couple of years. So I gave us 2 good innings, and that's all I could do.
I'm done.
That's all I could do. I felt like a train ran over me the next day.
They talked a lot about it as well during the game, but like you just said it too. So what is the pro league like? Like, how is that going now? What was it like when you came out of college?
So it's changed quite a bit. So before I was even in college, I was in like middle school, high school. They did have the WPSL, but that did not last very long. They did create the NPF, National Pro Fast Pitch. league, and that was pretty successful there for a little while. I think we had 6 teams at the time, and all summer we just kind of rotated around and traveled around and played each other, and we had a championship at the end. And then they also had the Pro Fast Pitch Extreme Tour, which they made 2 teams, and we traveled all over the country and did a bunch of exhibition games at amateur tournaments, and that did very, very well for about 6 years, and then it folded. I was fortunate enough, I did get to play in the NPF and the PFX, got to do both, which was super cool. So when the PFX folded, I did finish my career with the Chicago Bandits with the NPF. And the NPF only lasted a couple years after that. And then now they have the Athletes Unlimited, Athletes United. Yep. And that has taken off a little bit, and I know now it's actually branched out into something even bigger, and now we have more teams. And I understand that the MLB has just put a whole bunch of money into that to help women's sports, which is incredible. It's just incredible and remarkable that they're doing that and really giving back to women's sports, because women in sports it's really special. It's a really special thing. I love the spirit that women bring to sports. It's just a little different, and the emotion and the different kind of vibe and fire that women bring to sports. It's super cool, and it's special. And everyone is starting to really see that and really recognize that. And I feel like people are just falling in love with softball. They're getting addicted to it. And there's so many people too that are not really watch for the first time, but truly learn to really appreciate and respect what women have to bring to sports and bring to the table. And everybody's getting on board and getting excited about it. And they can't wait to see their favorite college players, now playing in an even bigger stage professionally. And I just think with MLB getting involved with all the TV exposure, and just, all of these beautiful, wonderful, incredible women just grabbing the hearts of everybody in America. I'm excited about pro softball and see what it's going to do and how it's going to take off.
I am too. I'm a former basketball player. So what the NBA has done to underwrite WNBA, that's what I see in terms of the new softball league. And I'm so excited. And I've had goosebumps throughout this interview, just listening to your passion. The game with Tech in Texas, most watched softball game ever in history. So softball is super hot right now. And to your point, these stories and these women, you fall in love with them. And when they're done, you just want to keep going. So I'm definitely going to be tuning into the pro league and can't wait to, watch more of our players enter into that. And then of course, with 2028 coming around the corner and the Olympics, we have that to look forward to as well. But Megan, this has been such a pleasure. We could talk to you all night long. This has been quite a joy. Thank you so much for taking time to share with us, and hope you continue enjoying this national championship.
Yes, absolutely. Thank y'all so much for having me. This has been so much fun. I love talking about softball. I love talking about women and sports, and of course UT.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Hey.
Hook 'em horns.
Yeah, hook 'em.